Let's see. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Hi. Thanks, Jean, for the little the celebration. Hi, Elsa. Hi, sweetie. Oh, Jean, Jimena. I just love this group. I'm
Should we
just
put
so
our
happy.
cameras on? Should we keep our
So
cameras on?
it's whatever you like, Jean.
Oh, okay.
It's truly. Yeah, this is going to be really, really, really good. And what do I want to say? Well, I'll give our little I'll give my spiel about EPT so that people who are not here live, because I believe everyone that is joining or here currently is has experienced EPT in some way or another, whether they've seen one of these or not. Um, Jean, Jean is bringing the good vibes in the chat. Thank you, Jean. um, but yeah, today we're gonna work with some like real nitty gritty, like deep scarcity, fear, like breaking point shit around money. And Kelly kindly is willing to be vulnerable and share the really real of what's going on and be recorded. So I just want to like honor all of that. And before we go into what we just chatted about, everyone is giving you so many props. Let's see. Basically, we're going to do an EPT session. And for those of you who are drawn to this topic, just know that there's healing in this for you as well, in some way or another. And notice what gets kicked up. Hi, Emily. It's nice to see your face. Notice what gets kicked up in your own system and allow it to move, allow it to be witnessed, allow it to be there. Notice where you feel like you are resonating deeply with what Kelly is sharing and take from that what works for you and then choose, maybe I don't need to take on this and release. So know that we all have our own sovereignty in what we bring into our field and what we don't. And it's more about keeping yours clear and authentic to you rather than I need to be over empathizing or extra to help. We take on each other's emotions all the fucking time as just in general. So like let's try to not take on any extra today. And just knowing I already know that this is going to be this is a very tender topic and I'm really grateful to be working on this with you, with all of you today. So to remind you, we're talking about money and how it's not consistent, or it feels like it's not consistent. And just got on here with Kelly, and she just let me know that a job that she thought she was going to get, she didn't get about an hour ago. And like she's at massive risk of not being able to pay rent, Yeah. So we're coming in with the really real, the really hard shit. So just breathe. Yeah. Yeah. And I want you to know, Kelly, I know myself, and as I was explaining a little bit about my story, money has been a huge initiator for me into healing and into a deep trust in source and the universe and God, throughout all of my life, but particularly the past couple of years as an adult, deciding to leave corporate and start my own practice, follow my heart, really, when you're like, and I had a lot of stories around not being able to, like that I was doing something irresponsible with following what was here, what wanted to like happen. And I took, just took on a lot from childhood too, and a lot of fear, all the things. And on many occasions, I've been where you are. And that whole like, okay, I have to go get a job somewhere else, and feeling like a failure and feeling like you've done something wrong and feeling like you know, it's not going to be okay. So this is like you showing up to it and you honoring where you are is really really powerful for you and for, I think, for anyone who's here, who's watching on one level or another. So thank you. Is there, I was gonna say a bunch of stuff about EPT beforehand to like help. This is what I guess, yeah, because I keep forgetting. I keep just like diving in to these, and then I've gotten the feedback that maybe I should set it up a little bit better for folks who aren't familiar. So I'm gonna have Kelly, we're gonna be moving emotional blockages that are in her system that are related to this like experience that she's experiencing right now, and the stronghold that it has on her, like on her energy field. As I do that, as I instruct her to put her, she's going to use magnets, but I can give you the hands instruction as well, like over your head or your heart or kidney or whatever. You are welcome to do those alongside of us. Again, if it resonates for you. And as we're breathing with Kelly, you'll see that I will kind of put my hands here over my high heart and rub and just take a deep breath. And I would welcome you to breathe along with us, regardless of if you feel like you want to put your hands over the organs. And when we get to statements, you're welcome to do statements with us as well. So I'll be giving her some statements to say. But ultimately, we're looking for opening up her system so that all of the support that's here, all of the divine love, all of the goodness that is here for her can make it in, can be in her own field. And she can feel it and she can trust it and she can be with it. So when we decided to do this EPT, I didn't know that this was going. I didn't know how deep this was. I knew it was deep, could sense it from your comments, but we didn't know that this was going to be what we found out today. So some of this will be kind of like nervous system control, especially at the very beginning. So does that make sense, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want to share about the situation that maybe I didn't say?
No, you did a really great job at giving a good synopsis.
Okay.
It's, I moved to Texas a little over a year ago. I got married in May, and ever since I left my job in Boston, I have struggled to gain employment, and it's at the point where we've gone through everything now. There's nothing left to go through.
Yeah. And when that was happening, these months in between, were you just like watching the savings like go down? Like
Yeah,
that feeling of like it's running out, it's running out, it's running out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the savings went out a long time ago, actually around my wedding.
Okay.
And we've been managing since then. Since May, we've been managing, but now we're like,
Yeah.
it's just my husband's job is slowing down for the winter, which it always does. And so, less hours is less pay. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's hard.
So tell me a little bit about the jobs that you're looking for to
I
support.
have historically been a paralegal.
Mhm.
For 19 years, I've been in some type of legal administrative or paralegal capacity. So supporting attorneys for 19 years. And you would think that I'd be able to find a job, but it's like the universe is saying, you're not supposed to be that. So I'm not giving you this job anymore. But that's the only experience I have. So
Yeah. Yeah.
where else do I go?
Yeah. And am I guessing, or do I remember hearing you say at some point that you're looking for a new career? You have an inspiration for a new career.
I do.
Yeah.
I just passed my life insurance agent exam.
Okay.
And I'm ready to get licensed. That costs another $62. And I'm like,
Yeah.
geez, like, and then once I get licensed and I can get trained, then I'll start getting money in. So it's like, do I just bite the bullet and spend the $62, even though I may not get commissions in for 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Or do I keep looking for paralegal work?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Let's start with breathing. So all that are here, go ahead and put your hands on either side of your head, feet on the ground, or uncrossed if you are in a bed or something like that.
What color is it again? I forgot.
And do you have blue and red or green and
Blue
red?
and red,
Cool.
yep.
So you will be blue on either side of your head. Perfect. And we're just going to take 6 deep breaths, squeezing on the inhale, releasing on the exhale, in your nose, out your mouth. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and breathe. And do 3 more. Good. You can release when you're ready. That's really just to ground your energy, help me to get into your energy a little bit more since we are here on a distance healing, as well as kind of getting your right and left brain. Everyone's here. Let's get everybody online and talking, and we're here. Knowing that in this moment you are really supported in this next, hour and a half. You are really supported. You're being held. You're not alone. You have a group of people that are like literally cheering you on in this chat, you know. And I believe I work with some like crazy divine forces. So like we've got a team here, that is seen and unseen. So just leaning into that. Okay, I'm gonna have you go ahead and say, my name is Kelly.
My name is Kelly.
Good. My name is Beth.
My name is Beth.
You are not Beth. Okay, good. All right. Whew. Distress of 10, elation. I'll talk about elation in a second. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stage of healing 1, 2, 3, 4. Depression. Go ahead and say, I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to let go.
I'm okay to let go.
Ooh, girl. All right. Yeah.
I can't
All
say
right.
that that's surprising.
Not surprising. Especially again, you're coming in with this is like vibrating, it's like really big. Um, so your system is showing a distress of 10 out of 10, so the highest amount of distress that I track. So our goal will be to bring that down. I like to see between a 1 and a 3. Um, it's also showing elation. So the way I describe this is that your system is elated or happy about being in this level of distress. So even though it's a high level of distress, your body is like, yes, this is what we like. So there's like an extra kind of addiction, some people will call it, or an extra benefit in your in your system to stay this way. So the elation is also at a 10. So that's massive. So in this, we're going to neutralize the elation, drop down the distress. And then stage of healing, you're in stage 4. So stage 1 is denial. It's like, whatever, I'll be fine. The job will come. I'll just have to I'm not going to worry about it. And then the job's not coming and you're like, fuck. And then you move into stage 2, which is like anger. And I'm like, I need to do something about this. This isn't fair. This shouldn't be happening. I like left. I evolved in my life. I found my life partner. I got married. I moved. I'm following my dreams, and I'm not being supported. What the hell? Like the anger can come into that. Anger puts us into action. We seek support in some way or another. We move into bargaining. Bargaining is usually it's this or that. It's the universe is testing me. That kind of shit is bullshit. So like what you were saying about the universe being like, like you can't have this. It's not like that necessarily. There might be some hints, that like remind you of what you desire, but it's not like you're being punished. You're not being punished, or you're not being like taught in that way. I just want to like eradicate that thinking. But that's where our minds, that's how our minds understand it. It's like, okay, it's like if this isn't working, then it must be this or whatever. So anyway, from bargaining, because that doesn't work, we move into depression. Depression is stuck. I feel stuck in a space. Depression also we can, say is like depressing our feelings, and we need to move them so that we can express and move forward. So the goal will be to get you to stage 5 and above. There are 7 stages, and stage 5 is acceptance. We need to put you into I love and accept myself. Like I, Kelly, love and accept myself. I've got myself, even though I'm fucking terrified right now, even though I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. Like, so, and that's like, yeah, that's like the real work. This is like big initiatory work, for healing. So I'm really proud of you for showing up. All right. And then, well, and which is funny, showing up is the only statement that you're congruent with. Everything else is paying attention, telling the truth, letting go. You're not congruent, meaning that your system is not testing as like incongruency or as that is true for you. So we're going to work through that. I will test all of this at the end. And I look at how many issues we have, and 7 are coming up, which is a lot, but we'll start with the first issue and we'll just move on. So sometimes, oftentimes when we move the first issue, we it like knocks out a few at least. But knowing that there's 7, like I have 1 through 4 on my paper. When there's more than 4, I'm like, shit, this is a thing, right? And I said this to you before in another session that you were witnessing. The healing that you need, the support that you, Kelly, need today is available for you today. So whatever you can begin to allow your mind to get, and this is like starting with the mind, to get behind the idea that, okay, I am a child of God or whatever. I am a fragment of the universe. I am worthy of having the support that I need. And this knowing that whatever I need today is actually here for me today. And what I need for tomorrow is going to be here for me tomorrow. And again, this is like a very baby step kind of approach. Whereas when we're looking onto social media and money manifestation techniques, it's like, I want to call in, an $80,000 car. Like the step is like way different. And so like looking at that kind of language and that kind of teaching right now is likely not going to serve you. So allowing yourself to be like, I am where I am. And where I am is scared, and I love and accept myself, and I'm supported. And it's like tending to that part of you that really needs you right now. Because that part of you doesn't need you to abandon and try to like go manifest, $80,000 or whatever. I'm making something up, but something extreme. Or even manifest your dream career. Like just being like, hey, I know that is inevitable. Me living out my life's purpose is inevitable. So if that's inevitable, what is available for me today to be supported? Just kind of like allowing yourself to, again, to meet yourself exactly where you are. Okay. Are you ready to dive in? Okay, yes. Cool. Yay, me too. All right. So as I said this, I know that chat is popping a little bit, and I'm psyched. So I hope you guys are like chatting with each other, and I will be checking it probably more at the end, but if I see stuff come through, I'll respond to it. All right, let's see. Show me week. First issue. Good. Is Kelly still here? Good. Sometimes you'll like check out because it's like too hard, so I just making sure we're still in you. All right. What's a who? Who is this current yet? Self. No, it's not about you. Okay. Who's involved? Family, current, husband. What's your husband's name?
Josh.
Josh. All right. We love you, Josh. What's going on? You're in your right kidney. Inefficient. I am efficient. How do I spell that? Okay. My emotion, Josh's emotion. Okay. All right. Why does your husband feel inefficient right now?
Because he can't provide.
Yeah.
His job doesn't make enough to cover the bills.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah, he feels that with himself. Yeah. Okay.
I gotta grab a tissue. I'll be 2 seconds.
Cool. You do that. I'm gonna just test to see if there's an earlier time we're gonna go back to on this. Yes, conception of birth, birth to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. See. The who, the what. All right, so we're taking you back. This pattern of holding this inefficiency that's connected to Josh is going back to age 15. So just kind of in your mind, a little like time capsule, bring yourself back to 15. And I'm gonna get a little more details around it. So intangible security, love, peace, respect, etc. Time. Mine. My time. Okay. Who's inefficiency? Family, original, parents, male, female, mom. All right. You're 15.
Uh-huh.
Mom feels inefficient with your time. So when I say, why would mom feel that way? What comes up for you?
Well, I would, so this is kind of hard to explain, but when I was 14, I moved back to Florida with my father, the one that raised me, and his wife.
Okay.
She was kind of a mother figure to me as a child. And then I did not have much of a relationship with my actual mom
Yep.
during that time.
Yep. Okay.
Um, and so I don't really know where that's going.
Yeah. So you left her at 14.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was kind of forced. I didn't have a choice.
Did she, because of, did she, what, yeah, what happened?
So, my sister has behavioral problems, or well, I mean, she still does, but back then it was a lot worse. And my mom was not coping with it very well and was hitting her a lot. And it got back to my father. And when we went down to Florida to visit him in the summertime, he said that he's not letting us go back, even though he was doing the same thing to her.
Wow.
And I pretty much didn't have a choice. I had to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a child who, if I thought that in order for me to not get that type of behavior towards me, that aggression, I had to be good in every way.
Yeah.
And so I was either sneaky with things that I wanted to do, or I just repressed things.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma in my history.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. And I just want to say, even though there's a lot of trauma, you deserve to be supported. You are worthy. You know my thing about deserving. You are worthy of being supported. You know, like continuing to go back to the truth. The truth is, I'm worthy of being supported. These things occurred. That does not change the truth of me. It's just remembering that. Um, yeah. Okay. This is coming together. It's really interesting because at age 15, you had moved not by choice, but you are just now coming off the heels of moving by choice and having this huge swing of like problem happening.
It's totally about moving. Because I have thyroid disease. I've told you that before in the past.
Yeah.
And every time I move, my thyroid levels go off the chart.
Wow. Yeah.
It's kind of weird how it works that way.
Yeah. A lot of things we could speculate there. we're gonna stay here. I will, my like my detective self wants to go down all the paths, but I'm gonna listen to the field of this and follow what it's
Okay,
telling me.
okay,
I'm like, damn it. Okay. All right, let's move the inefficiency that you've been holding in your system that's been attracting this energy of inefficiency. Okay.
okay,
So we're gonna do what do we say? It was your right kidney. So I'm just gonna test that. Whew, good. All right, you're gonna put red over your right kidney. So like lower back on the right side. And
okay,
then you'll put the other red side over your forehead. Yeah. And so those that are here, if you want to put your hand over your high heart, if you're doing a different placement. All right, you're going to bring to mind inefficiency, your mom feeling inefficient with you, with what she could do with your time. Yeah, when you were essentially taken away from her when you moved. Yeah, and when you're ready, go ahead and breathe. Do 3 deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. Good. Do one more. Yeah, good. When you feel complete, you can release the magnets. Yeah. Okay. Shimmy, strong, shimmy, weak. Are there any more emotions? Yeah. So we're going to stay on this 15-year-old picture and get whatever else needs to be released here. So I'm just checking other organs. We're in your right lung. Grief, resistance,
right
emotion.
lung, actually both lungs come up, have come up in other sessions, so
Really? Yeah.
yeah, lungs are a big one for me.
Well, it's a lot of grief, a lot of grief. Um, it's interesting for me when I work with women, especially, usually we're in the liver a lot right away. The liver stores like our anger and our rage and all of the really ugly emotions that women aren't supposed to be showing. So I'm always intrigued when we're not going straight there because it's like, oh, okay, what do we have? What is so present that we aren't even going to the liver yet? Like, it's kind of what the way that it kind of reveals itself to me. But so yeah, what's coming up, is it yours? It's not even yours. All of these emotions aren't even yours yet, girl. Okay. Whew. All right. Whose is this? You're 15. It's mom's. Okay. Yeah. So you were feeling mom's anguish during
Oh
this
yeah,
time.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
same situation. It wasn't
Yeah.
the first time that I was taken away from her.
God. Okay. I feel like you have like my mom's story and my story mixed up. Like I am like my mind is like, what the? Okay. Well, when were you taken away from her before?
I was five or six. It was 1990.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was six.
And why? Like for the same
Well,
reasons?
no. My father had married my stepmother, and my stepmother was jealous of my mother and I only found out or figured out, I should say, that she was jealous of my mother after I became an adult and I was
Yeah.
able to understand the situation. But she accused my mother of sexually abusing my sister and I, took us to court, manipulated us
Whoa.
right in the courtroom. I actually remember that happening. She says to my sister and I, we're going back and forth between both parents. We don't know. We love both of our parents. We're 5 and 6 years old, Um, you need to sit down and think about whether or not do you want to stay up here and live with your mom, or do you want to come to Florida with your dad and I and go to Disney World? I mean, who says that to a 5 and a 6-year-old? I mean, what decision do you think they're gonna make?
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Um,
understanding the implications. of the truth
Right.
of the situation. Yeah.
Exactly.
Whew.
And then the judge takes us in the back and asks us what we want to do, as though we know at 5 and 6 years old that we should be, what kind of decision that we should be making.
Wow.
And then that's how we ended up in Florida.
Ugh. So it was Florida, and then where was your mom living?
Rhode Island. Rhode Island was
Okay.
where I was born.
Okay. Wow.
So I
Yeah.
spent a good chunk of my childhood going back and forth between parents.
Yeah. Yeah. And like not a normal divorce situation either, like a
Mhm.
really fucked up, manipulated one, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And abusive, clearly, like emotionally. There's some physical in there. Yeah. God. Okay. Let's move mom's anguish. Yeah. There is a sense from the feeling of this that like she knows she fucked up and like feels out of control and all of this stuff. And then also just like is also very like she's going through it herself, you know, and
Mhm.
you're like taking that on. So show me right lung. We're gonna do green and red. Okay. You're gonna put the blue side, so mine is green, over your right lung space. And then you're gonna put red. Let me just double check. Is it red? Yeah. Red over your forehead. Good. And I want you to bring up the energy of anguish from when you're 15. Yeah, mom's anguish. God, yeah. Go ahead and breathe. Ooh, let's do one more.
Yeah, I thought that too, and then I'm like, I second guessed myself.
You can always take more breaths than what I say. Oh, good. Yeah. When you're ready, you can release the magnets. Yeah, we're going to get some more around here. Going back down to your kidney, all on your right side, right kidney. Fear, myth, dread. Dread. Mom's dread. No, my dread. Well, we have your emotions. Dread.
Yeah, I
Your
did not
dread.
want to move. I did not want to move at all. I wanted to be back with my mom.
And was your dad with the same stepmom that manipulated? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
By that point in my life, I was starting to get old enough to understand the dynamics
yeah.
and I was starting to hate her. And I know hate is a strong word, but literally I was starting to hate her.
Yeah. 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 All right, let's move the dread. Yep, we're gonna do red and red. So red over that right kidney, and then red. Oh yeah, I haven't been telling. Sorry, you guys. Back of hand over forehead, back of hand over right kidney. If you're doing that, and just bringing up the energy of dread. Your dread when you're 15. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and breathe. Yeah, and what we're doing right now is just interrupting this like automatic pattern in Kelly's system that is being triggered by her current financial lack of support, which includes the energy of inefficiency, anguish, and dread. And you can kind of imagine that like it's like a really active nervous system, but that's like kind of ping ponging between these like intensities. Um, So just wanted to acknowledge that's what the breathing and the magnets or the hand placements are for. Okay. Okay, no more emotions. Whew. All right, good. Trauma, yeah, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 2. Yeah, okay. So I'll explain trauma. At this stage of the healing session, the idea is that, it kind of goes in like 4 steps. So it's like step 1 is the focus, which is what Kelly came in with, this like massive financial experience that is, scary and a lot of scarcity, in her current experience, in her current truth. So that's the focus that we take in, and then we find it. So we just found in her body where this shit is living and what it's connected to. And then we release it. Dr. Neck calls this like fix it. So that's by like we're correcting the system so that it can have a natural flow. And truly, like what we're doing in these sessions are positioning like correcting your system so that automatic healing occurs. Like all of us come with the ability for automated healing. Our systems, our body, mind, spirit is like built that way. And so what we're doing is sort of like taking the kinks out of the hose so that that can like occur. Does that make sense? The visual of that? Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's like a light way to talk about what we're talking about, but trying to like hold, both of those experiences.
It's
Um,
funny, I carry my stress here
mhm. Yeah,
and I feel a little bit lighter, but I still feel tense.
yeah, yeah. And I would venture to imagine that, like, what we're doing today is like, this is not like a one-time thing, and a lot is being shifted at this time too. So, and like a kind of going back to the very beginning, like what you need, you have access to. So just remembering, like, okay, like even just how this session came up. Like, I just had the thought when we were in communication, man, I really like Kelly and I have been talking for a couple of years. Like, I would love to do a session with her, and I feel the energy to do another one of these live EPT sessions. So, like, why don't I just ask her and see if she's willing to do it? Like,
Yeah.
totally like that. Like, that wasn't coming from me feeling like bad that I'm not in the position in my business to be doing scholarships or that kind of thing quite yet. But like one day that's something I want to do. But this like idea came to me from my own place of fullness and then wanting to share. And it was perfectly aligned for what you needed. Right.
It
And
was.
that isn't me doing that. Right. That is me being willing to co-create, and you are being willing to co-create. That is, you helped orchestrate what we're doing right now. So kind of going
Mhm.
into that like more energetic stuff and like the universe is letting me do this or not letting me do this. Like you are already projecting. Support gets to come to me in some way or another. You just might not be seeing it all the way. So letting this on all the layers that it needs to reveal to you how supported you actually are in this moment. And you are going to come out of this. Like it is anchor into yourself. It is fucking inevitable that I am going to come out of this and it's going to be okay. Like I've already survived so much shit. I am very strong. Like you're strong. You're very strong. And it's not I'm strong, so then I need to keep putting myself through shit so I can keep proving I'm strong. We are moving past that. Like Kelly knows she's strong. Kelly's not used to feeling supported. So like let's get Kelly used to knowing that she's supported too. I can be strong and supported. Okay, I feel like I'm getting really fiery. Are you is this okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate that you're willing to do this.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. No, it felt right. So this next phase, so we've done like find it, whatever, focus, find it, fix it. This next phase is really around resolving the situation. Oh, thank you, Humana. I'm glad you needed to hear that too, or what I can see of that comment. So this part is really about, okay, we've moved the stuff out of your system and I could send you on your way. but your brain, especially because this is heavy trauma. Like you have created a system that is protecting you from feeling what you had to experience when you were 15 and likely when you were 5, 6, over and over and over again. And it's being triggered right now by your current life experience. It's here. It's like showing you it's ready to be healed. But what we want to do is let your system know, get your mind, body, and spirit all on the same page with the idea that we're actually letting this old wound go. It's ready to go. And we are stepping into the version of Kelly that's already here that I want more access to, like I want to be more available for. And so to do that, we honor trauma and we do this like section of resolution around for a lot of forgiveness and not forcing forgiveness. So when I say some statements, if they feel too like I'm pushing you, tell me, because it's not about forcing you. It's about like helping your wounded part like understand that she's welcome here and she can come with you. She needs to come with you where you're headed. Because what seems to have happened, and again, I feel like this is all divinely timed. Like you were following your heart, you found your husband, got married, moved across the country, you did all these things on your own accord. And what's being kicked up are these times where you didn't have a choice and it was really, really, really bad. And so it's like, I need to create a scenario where it's really, really, really bad, where I feel like I don't have a choice. I have to go find a job at Walmart or something. There is no choice for me so that I can validate what I experienced when I was 15. That is what our system
Oh,
does.
do you know how much relief I just felt when you said that?
Hmm. Yeah, it's wild.
It really is. Because I never connected moving all the way across the country with the back and forth as a child and not having a choice, and then now creating a situation where I didn't have a choice. I never connected that. Oh, that's amazing. You are good at what you do. Oh,
Thank you. And like, this is something that you can have gratitude for, which is fucked up, kind of, right?
it is. It is, but it's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And that's like part of the deal. It's like we have all life is not just the one thing that we're trying to achieve. And we everyone that's here knows this. There's so much more available to us in every present moment, including this weird synchronicity and fucked upness and whatever, including the desperation, including the knowing somewhere underneath that you're worthy, including knowing that like you're drawn to like look at things that inspire you because you have desires. Like all of it exists in this moment. And all we're doing is allowing the truth of the now to be revealed in a way that feels safe for you to receive it, so that you can actually be like, I can be here rather than hyper vigilantly trying to be there, trying to be fixed, trying to be done, trying to be, you know, with the job, with the income that's steady, like all of that stuff. Yes, that's where we're headed, but like you're not there right now. So not forcing yourself to be there, but being here and trusting that right here is so good. Right here is really good. And it's only going to get better from here. And this is all we really have. Like this is the reality of like, does that make sense? I know I'm doing a lot of weird. Okay.
No, it does.
So phase 1 and phase 2. I've explained this before, and I'm just going to keep explaining it because I think it's really helpful. Phase 1 is where one side of our brain takes over and the other side drops out. So you're not fully resourced. One side is like moving a bunch and it's like looking for solutions and it's super hyper vigilant and it feels really anxious and just trying to figure out things.
I'm here picking my fingers.
Things like, yeah, tics like that and OCD and just things that are high energy, like trying to figure things out. It's not coming out very well right now, but what happens is phase two occurs when it gets too much for phase one to handle. And then both sides go out of commission. And phase two is like, I can't pay attention. I have to go numb. I'm going to go look this way. I'm going to go do this. That's like ADD. ADHD is like really, I believe, a phase two thing. I don't think everybody in the world is ADD like everybody is trying to say right now, but it's a whole other story that I won't go down to today. But phase two, both of these are really intelligent coping mechanisms to handle pain and or not to handle pain, but to keep you from feeling the pain, the original wound. But what happens when we're not feeling that original wound? Because again, this stuff happened when you're 5, when you're 15. You didn't have the capacity. You were alone, like emotionally alone in those scenarios. And you didn't have the like faculty to really like know what to do with all of this overwhelming emotion, right?
Mhm.
And so what's interesting is we often, and I don't know if you read any like energy healing work stuff, but there's an author, Barbara Brennan, who wrote Light Emerging, and I'm kind of like re-digging into her book a little bit. And she talks about this like initial wound that we all experience. That's just our initial wound of separation, and how we create all these masks around to try and hide the idea that we're separate, or reconcile or understand the idea that we're separate. What I'm trying to say from that is that by avoiding the wound gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's really what we believe about the wound that's causing more of the strife and more of the problem. So if you
What's
think
her
about,
book? What's the
oh,
book
it
name?
is Light Emerging,
Okay.
and her name's Barbara Brennan. Yeah, it's really
Okay.
interesting. It's a good one. I know Dr. Annette, she referenced that in my EPT training. And I was like, yep, gonna go back and check that one out.
Yeah,
So
I just
it's a good one.
put it on my list there.
It's one of those where, like, anyway, I'm gonna go down a whole rabbit hole, so I'm not gonna do that. All right, bringing it back in. Phase two trauma looks like, you know, I need to check out. I need to check out. So if you find yourself not focusing on finding a job, like, and then beating yourself up for not working hard enough for finding the right job or figuring this problem out, you're likely just in phase two, and it's hard for you to like actually function the way you need to function.
Constantly.
Yeah,
And that's not even just finding a job. I find that in a lot of facets of my life.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is that. So on a normal day when you're like, okay, I'm not focusing on what I'm like set out to do, like just do a little bit of, you can get your red magnets out and put them on, for a little bit, but just tap your head until you like come back into your body. Tell yourself you're safe, bring yourself back in, and then proceed to focus. Um,
Okay.
but essentially, what we want to do while we do this reconciliation is, this isn't really about going back into the trauma, because trauma is created we code something as traumatic in our system, not because of the event, but it's because of what we made it mean. So we don't need to be like living in the event of what occurred for you and in that story. So we're releasing the story, but we need to reconcile what you made it mean about you and about your life experience. So it's like, anyway, um, there's so much coming through that I'm like trying to like, I'm feeling myself not paying attention because I'm like, we can go this way or this way. Whew. So I don't know if it's just the energy of the session or the fact that we're being recorded and I just became aware of that, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to take a minute to make sure that I'm grounding. Phase two. So what I'm going to have you do is put the red side of the magnets on both sides of your head. Good. And I'm going to set myself up down here to ground even more. And for folks that are watching, depending on how this is activating for you, you are welcome to tap all around your head as a way. So, what Kelly is doing with the red side of the magnet is essentially this: it's just waking up the brain, keeping us resourced. We want her to be fully here. As I go through these statements with you, Kelly, you might feel a little floaty or like you're leaving a little bit. And if you notice, not that you need to be vigilant about it, but if you notice it and you're like, I'm not hearing you or whatever, you can just say something. And you can always take a couple of breaks if you need to, if your arms get tired. And like I was saying before, if I say something that you're not ready to say, forgiveness wise or whatever, just tell me. Be like, nope, I'm not there yet. I can't do it. Oh yeah. And also I probably should have told you this in email. If you have like a hat or a headband, you can always like stick the magnets in that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, it's all good.
I've had that conversation before and I never ended up doing it.
When I used to see people in person, I would put it like a little headband this way and be like, we're now at Coachella and you've got your like healing Coachella situation. Okay, so everyone take a deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. And for folks that are just here witnessing and, with your own stuff being kicked up, just sending love, whatever that means to you, to the field of this healing for everyone, for Kelly and for you and for everyone who's watching. This is big stuff. This is real. This is what liberation looks like on like a really real level. And it's really important. And I'm really grateful that you're all here. Oh, all right, Kelly. I say yes.
I say yes.
To the shame.
To the shame.
I've been carrying.
I've been carrying.
About the support in my life.
About the support in my life.
That has been manipulated.
That has been manipulated.
And confusing.
And confusing.
And abusive.
And abusive.
Yeah. Yeah, I say yes to the shame.
I say yes to the shame.
I call it up out of my body, mind, and spirit.
I call it up out of my body, mind, and spirit.
Good. And I release it for divine healing.
And I release it for divine healing.
With love and gratitude.
With love and gratitude.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah, I love and accept.
I love and accept.
That even with all of this shame.
That even with all of this shame.
And even through all of this trauma.
And even through all of this trauma.
I have somehow attracted support.
I have somehow attracted support.
I have a husband who wants to provide.
I have a husband who wants to provide.
Yeah. I have my heart who's showing me the way.
I have my heart who is showing me the way.
And I'm going to call this out. Yeah. All of the synchronicities.
And all of the synchronicities.
Yeah. That I've witnessed.
That I have witnessed.
And maybe not claimed.
And maybe not claimed.
Yeah. But I've known were true.
But I've known were true.
Even in my darkest moments.
Even in my darkest moments.
Yeah. I love and accept I am supported.
I love and accept I am supported.
Yeah. Even when it doesn't look like it.
Even when it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, by the definitions outside of me.
By the definitions outside of me.
Yeah, and breathe. I forgive myself for believing.
I forgive myself for believing.
That there's something wrong with me.
That there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, that I can't seem to figure it out.
That I can't seem to figure it out.
When it comes to consistent money.
When it comes to consistent money.
Yeah, and living my life authentically.
And living my life authentically.
Yeah, I love and accept that isn't true.
I love and accept that it isn't true.
Yeah. Yeah, and I give myself permission to experience grace.
And I give myself permission to experience grace.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that because I have this crazy ass story,
that because I have this crazy ass story
yeah, that is encoded with density,
that is encoded with density
yeah, and really ugly parts of the human condition.
and really ugly parts of the human condition.
Yeah, I forgive myself for believing I'm not worthy
I forgive myself for believing I am not worthy
because of my story.
because of my story.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, without this negative pattern
Without this negative pattern
of needing inefficiency and anguish,
of needing inefficiency and anguish,
dread and shame,
dread and shame,
I can let go.
I can let go
Yeah, of confusing my worthiness with my story.
of confusing my worthiness with my story.
Yeah, I see now they are separate.
I see now that they are separate,
Yeah, that I am inherently worthy.
that I am inherently worthy,
Yeah, and I experienced a crazy story.
and I experienced a crazy story
Yeah, with a lot of trauma.
with a lot of trauma.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive Josh
I forgive Josh
for his inefficiency with himself.
for his inefficiency with himself
Yeah, because he can't provide for both of us right now.
because he can't provide for both of us right now.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I asked Josh to forgive me
I ask Josh to forgive me
for my role
for my role
in his feelings of inefficiency.
in his role in my role in his feelings of inefficiency
Yeah, when he can't provide for both of us.
when he can't provide for both of us.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive my mom when I'm 15
I forgive my mom when I'm 15
for her inefficiency
for her inefficiency
and her anguish.
and her anguish
Yeah, when I was forced to move away from her.
when I was forced to move away from her,
Yeah, when she was abusing my sister.
when she was abusing my sister.
Yeah, and breathe. I forgive my 15-year-old self
I forgive my 15-year-old self
for for my dread
for my dread
around not having a choice.
around not having a choice
Yeah, and being caught up in these energies.
and being caught up in these energies
Yeah, that were too overwhelming.
that were too overwhelming
Yeah, for me to process.
for me to process.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I'm just gonna check in with you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah. Are you feeling here, like in your body?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Is there anything coming up for you specifically?
I'm surprised that anger didn't come up at on my father for forcing me to stay. But other than
So,
that,
yeah.
no,
Do you feel anger right now?
no,
No. Okay.
I've
What
moved
I,
past that.
yeah, what I will
Back then
say
I
about,
was.
oh, of course, yeah, which is interesting. if you've processed that, you didn't process the dread, and that's what's coming up, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's what needs to be tended to. But I will say that each one of these emotional packages, the inefficiency, the anguish, the dread, those are like nucleus. The way I see them from an energy standpoint is like a nucleus emotion. They're like the big one. I call them packages because they're like the main emotion. And as we release them, they are like taking with them whatever else was attached. And so likely anger was part of that story or the emotional package. And even like yearning or paralyzed will or, feeling hopeless and out of control, all of those emotions could have also been connected. But the
Mhm.
way that I work with this technique, with emotional polarity technique, is intentional to get bigger packages versus like one-off kind of things. Or else we'd be here all day, right? Like
Mhm.
shopping, just feel like throwing all the like emotions in like a shopping cart. So yeah, the way that
Excuse
oh
me.
good,
Wow, that came out of nowhere.
good. When you've talked about the thyroid energetically, people, and I'm not an expert here, but people talk about it being throat chakra related
Mhm.
in some ways and not telling
Not
your
allowed to
truth,
speak.
not allowed to speak. So the more you can expel through whatever ways, singing, chanting, speaking, crying, coughing, is going to be really supportive for you as you're moving through all of this stuff. I want to say a few more statements, but I just wanted to check in with you before we went
Oh,
further.
okay. Yep.
Okay. And we'll wrap up in probably the next 5 minutes or so and then open it up to dialogue. There's a lot in the chat I want to look at. So I'm really grateful, you
Okay.
guys. Yeah, so just take another deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. Yeah. Kelly, forgive myself for believing
I, Kelly, forgive myself for believing
that because of the trauma,
that because of the trauma,
connecting is bad for me.
connecting is bad for me,
Yeah, and that my problems aren't as important
and that my problems aren't as important
as other problems.
as other problems.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that no one is here for me.
that no one is here for me,
Yeah, and I have to do it all by myself.
and I have to do it all by myself.
Yeah, I forgive my parents
I forgive my parents
for not, for being bad parents.
for being bad parents,
Yeah, for
and they
not
were.
being, they were bad parents at this time. Yeah. Um, I know
I know
with my adult brain
with my adult brain
that they did what they knew to do.
that they did what they knew to do,
Yeah, and so did I when I was 15.
and so did I when I was 15.
But that was then,
But that was then,
and this is now.
and this is now.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that because I'm so used to self abandoning,
that I'm so used to self abandoning
that when I make decisions for me,
that when I make decisions for me,
I can't be supported.
I can't be supported,
Like moving across the country with my husband.
like moving across the country to be with my husband
Yeah. And starting a life that I desire.
and starting a life that I desire.
Yeah, yeah, breathe. I give myself permission
I give myself permission
to grieve and mourn the loss
to grieve and mourn the loss
of, To grieve and mourn the loss I experienced.
I experienced
Yeah. Every time I self-abandon.
every time I self-abandoned.
Yeah, and breathe. I'm going to say that one more time. Give myself permission
I give myself permission
to grieve and mourn the loss
to grieve and mourn the loss
for every single time
for every single time
I have abandoned myself.
I have abandoned myself.
Yeah. Because I believed I was alone.
Because I believed I was alone.
Yeah. And breathe. Without this negative pattern,
Without this negative pattern,
I choose to know the truth.
I choose to know the truth.
I am so supported.
I am so supported.
I have all of the good forces.
I have all of the good forces
Yeah, all around me
all around me
in ways I don't even expect.
in ways I don't even expect.
Yeah, and I choose to see
And I choose to see
and put my attention on
and put my attention on
all the fucking support I have.
all the fucking support I have
Yeah, that comes from me.
that comes from me
Yeah, and everything around me.
and everything around me.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, without this negative pattern,
Without this negative pattern,
I let go of the shame
I let go of the shame
and give myself permission to grieve
and give myself permission to grieve
the loss of this job I wanted.
the loss of this job I wanted,
Yeah, the loss of the security I need.
the loss of the security I need.
Yeah, I give myself permission to grieve.
I give myself permission to grieve.
Good. And breathe. With this, I open up space
With this, I open up space
to receive support,
to receive support,
even when
even when
I'm not self abandoning anymore,
I am not self-abandoning anymore,
even when I accidentally self abandon.
even when I accidentally self-abandon,
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
because it doesn't matter.
I'm worthy of all the support,
I am worthy of all the support,
and I can't be that wrong.
and I can't be that wrong.
Yeah, it just is.
It just is.
Yeah, and breathe. With this, I open up massive space
With this, I open up massive space
to experience gratitude.
to experience gratitude
Yeah, for my husband
for my husband
and his desire to support us.
and his desire to support us.
And now I know.
And now I know,
Yeah, now I know
now I know
I'm with him
I am with him
in supporting us.
in supporting us,
Yeah, even when I'm afraid,
even when I'm afraid,
even if I feel stuck,
even if I feel stuck.
I now know the truth.
I now know the truth
Yeah, that I'm powerful.
that I am powerful
Yeah, and I can choose.
and I can choose
Yeah, yeah, I have choice.
and I have a choice.
I didn't have choice when I was 15.
I didn't have a choice when I was 15,
Yeah, and she's no longer running the show.
and she is no longer running the show,
Yeah, I'm letting her relax,
and letting her relax,
and I get to make choices now.
and I get to make choices now.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I say over my, how do I want to say this? I say over this old memory.
I save over this old memory.
Yeah. Yeah, I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I am sorry.
Please forgive me
Please forgive me.
and thank you.
And thank you.
And so it is.
And so it is.
One last deep breath. Good. You can release your hands. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Good. My brain was getting a little tingly there.
Yeah, common, normal. So just trusting the process for starters. And whatever you feel led to do, to like, I always like to, this isn't required, this is a preference of mine, but I always like to kind of like materialize what we just did and all of the energy. And so, A, drink a lot of water today, that kind of stuff. Be really gentle with yourself. But yeah, if you want to like, journal and then burn it, if you want to write down everything you're like done with, like I am done with this shit from my story. Like 15-year-old me, you're now with me and you're in the passenger seat. I'm taking you for a ride instead of you taking me for a ride, all of that stuff. And even then sitting with like, okay, logistically and tangibly, we need X amount of dollars by this date. And let that be something that you're like, I am calling in this much money by this date, and I am willing to receive it in any way that that means. And I'm willing to be led to those steps to receive. You already said you're willing to go get a job at Walmart. You are willing to do what you need to do. You can trust yourself to do what needs to be done. 15-year-old you didn't have that choice, nor that trust, nor that understanding of how strong she was. But today you know that. And you are getting out of this. You are not going to get stuck in this. Okay. Okay. With that, I'm gonna just test where you are and then I'll open this up. Okay, let me see. Show me strong, show me weak. All right, distress. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, you went to a 1. I was not expecting that. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for us. You're making me look good. Okay. Is there any elation? No. I knew we would neutralize that though. Okay, stage of healing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You
Girl.
connected the dots. That's what you did. That's what you did. You connected the dots. And
Did
now
not,
I
the dots were
know.
connected. Now you freaking know. Now you know. And now I know why you had to work with me because we have lots of similarities. So, all right, go ahead and say, I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to pay. I'm okay to tell the truth.
Good. I'm okay to let go.
I'm okay to let go.
Yeah, you're good. All of that is strong. Um, I'm not even getting that you would need to go to issue 2, which is wild because there were 7 issues. So we would go in sequence of like issue 1, 2, whatever. And I'm not even getting that. So wow. Okay. Beautiful. Do you have questions? I'm gonna open us back up to like the gallery space. Yeah, do you have any questions moving before we
No,
move forward?
but I want to say this with the least amount of judgment possible, but the person that I was
Hit me.
working with before you
Oh,
did not even come close to this level. So
yeah.
kudos to you, girl, because you've got some talent.
Thank you. I will receive that. I'm committed to this. And I liken it to like any practitioner field, right? Like I've had really bad Reiki experiences, And then I've had like really incredible Reiki, you know, it's like, and so I always, you know, I think that there's like things and people for everyone. And but I do appreciate, I will take that. I appreciate you saying that because this is what I'm fucking here for. I'm not here for it. So
I
the part of
wish
me
I
that's
had
inside
taken
is
you
like,
up
yeah.
I wish I had taken you up on doing this 2 years ago when I probably could have spent the extra money. And now it's like I really don't have the extra money. And it's like it's worse now. I'm like, I regret that, but it is
Let
what it is,
yourself
and I'm here
know
for a reason.
you're here, and it doesn't mean because it's not available for you right now. This, you coming in to do a full thing with like a full container with me right now is not what you need right now. What you need right now is to be here with you and calling in that trust and that support of what's here right now.
Mhm.
And when you continue to build that muscle in yourself and feel that in yourself, and you're like, fuck, I have got me. Like, I got me. That is just going to blow everything out of the water that I could do for you. So just trust that, like, where you are. And then, yeah, when the time is right, the time will be right. I promise. And I feel the same. I have, yeah, I got someone that I really have been trying to call in to work with for a long time, for a long time. And you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I feel you in that deeply. I do. But yeah, you know, keep showing up to these, you know, offerings. You know, I'm trying to do more things that are more accessible. And Jimena helps me on the back end with some stuff. And so she knows some good stuff's coming in the works too that will be on a more accessible level for all. But yeah, it's
Good.
like, let's grow this business fast enough so that I can do that
Yeah.
on a more, you know, I want it to be more accessible for sure. Thank you so much for being willing to doing this today. And I'm going to stop the recording so that we can all have chat that feels a little more intimate. All
Okay.
right.